Hey everyone, Ryan here with Fluorescent, and today I'd like to welcome you to an introductory guide for optimizing images on your Shopify store. Whether you're using a free Shopify theme or one of the many incredible premium themes, such as Fluorescent's beautiful image-focused Stiletto, we're certain these simple but handy tips will help you strike that perfect balance between visual acuity and high performance. As always, let's jump right in. Before we wade into the technical details, let's do a quick check-in on some best practices for image composition. For full-width images, positioning your main subject matter in the center of the image, accounting for the inevitable cropping on each side that occurs with smaller screen formats, ensures your subject matter doesn't end up off-screen when scaled down from a larger format, such as a laptop or a desktop, to a tablet or mobile device. For this, consider the rule of thirds, which boils down to the idea that every image can be compositionally broken down into thirds, and in our specific use case, vertical thirds. If you're using a landscape-oriented image, such as the one typically used for a slideshow or hero section, it's easy to see why you'd want to play with some asymmetry for some added visual interest. But if your theme only allows for the use of a single static image, regardless of screen format, the center third is where you want most of your content to reside, as this will prevent it from being obscured or possibly even partially cut off, sometimes awkwardly, on those smaller devices. Larger screen formats manage most image content according to a grid and can handle larger landscape images for full screen use, while also allowing for square and portrait images to reside side by side given a proportional amount of the grid, usually thirds or quarters, or in unique collage configurations. Whereas mobile devices favor portrait or ideally square format images for uniform vertical stacking. This stacking ensures that images are still clearly visible on smaller screens and aren't competing for limited horizontal real estate. Plus, they lend themselves nicely to perpetual scrolling and one-thumb navigation. A good number of premium themes allow for the uploading of mobile-specific images to avoid the aforementioned instances of indiscriminate cropping. Biased as we are, we compel you to check out our Stiletto theme's advanced settings, where you have the freedom to adjust the aspect ratio, image height, size, select a focal point, and even overlay colors for extra control over how and where you use your images. Stiletto's Image Hero section is a great example of how effective these controls can be when put into action. Check them out! Another best practice related to image cropping is to avoid the use of baked-in text in your images. Baked in, you ask? Sounds delicious. But no. This is where text is made part of the actual image, and is susceptible to image cropping for the same reasons we touched on above. Not to mention, this prevents the theme from doing its job of scaling the text responsively as the screen format reduces in size. It goes without saying, but we'll say it anyway, that it's best to leave any headings, subheadings, body text, etc. to be managed by the theme, as this optimizes text not just for the appropriate screen format, but for accessibility's sake, such as with the use of screen readers, as well as for search engine optimization. Coming back to the use of grids, maintaining a common aspect ratio for your images is crucial for establishing a visually cohesive layout for your storefront. As the aspect ratio is the relationship between the width and height of an image, a consistent aspect ratio across all images ensures that each image shares these proportional dimensions, facilitating a sense of uniformity and order across the grid. This visual consistency is not only aesthetically pleasing, but also enhances the overall user experience by providing a structured and organized presentation of content. Images with a common aspect ratio align seamlessly, eliminating disruptions in the grid's flow and preventing visual irregularities that can distract or confuse website visitors. This adherence to a unified aspect ratio is particularly crucial for e-commerce websites, portfolios, or any platform where a grid layout is employed to showcase diverse content and no adapt image settings are available. It not only contributes to a polished and professional appearance, but also streamlines the browsing process, allowing users to navigate through the visual content with ease and coherence. Our Stiletto theme, of course, boasts a feature designed to mitigate these aforementioned pain points. These adapt the image aspect ratio in tandem with empowering merchants to assign selectable focal points. This way you're able to make these adjustments within the editor, aligning your subject matter in view with no immediate need to edit your photos prior to uploading. Check out some examples of this in action for Stiletto's various sections. Now let's talk about size. It's not about the specific dimensions of each respective image, but finding that sweet spot. Aim for a minimum pixel width of 2500 pixels and a max file size of about 2 megabytes. These principles lend themselves nicely to large and small formats alike. It's best to let Shopify and Stiletto handle the optimization pertaining to these specific use cases. Things will get sluggish if you're uploading 10 megabyte images, not to mention a good chunk of the screen resolutions from customers viewing your storefront won't be truly optimized to view these in their chunkiest format anyway, so they'll really only serve to bog down your page speed. Choosing the right file format matters. JPEGs, PNGs, WebP, and GIFs, that's right, GIF, are your go-tos. Each has its benefits. PNGs support transparencies, GIFs support animation, and WebP supports both, and at a more accessible file size, just for example. So pick one that best suits your content's intent. And there you have it, image optimization. Some preliminary pixel principles framed formidably. Get the picture? I need a vacation. If you want to know more about the topic of image optimization, check out our image guide companion doc in our help center that peels back the layers and delves deeper into how to get the most out of your images for each specific use case, some theme-specific tips, and of course, much, much more. As always, thanks for checking out our videos. I've dropped a link to Fluorescence user guides for these features in the description below, and please don't hesitate to reach out to our support team if you could use a hand or some advice on how to use these to their full potential. They're happy to assist. Until next time.